For some reason, I keep seeing Coleman, Alabama and this presentation as a picture-perfect Christmas destination. And I just want to remind y'all that shithole is a sundown town.
See, what I do is I just abide by Jim Crow rules, and that way I don't have no problem. Welcome to Racist of the Week. My name is Reese Waters. This is where we expose the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination in hopes we can build a more perfect union. And also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. And if you have any nominees, you can throw them in the comments. You can email me at reese@reesewaters.com. Oh, look, isn't that nice? Personally, I don't know why we're here. That was oh, word. We can't have nothing. Even in the holidays, we gotta worry about some nonsense. Here we go. Cullman battles racist sundown town legacy as it becomes Alabama's cutest Christmas town. Coleman is enjoying the spotlight this holiday season as visitors flock to a celebration of the Alabama city's German roots, the Christkindlmarkt. The Christkindlmarkt, featuring a 40-foot tall Christmas pyramid that is the country's tallest, the one-of-a-kind Christmas market, also features an ice skating rink, Ferris wheel, and a life-size nativity scene. See, if they really wanted to be black friendly, they would have just made it a skating rink. Yeah, they just would have made it a regular skating rink, like 80s style. Then they would integrate it then. But then you put ice down, we know what time it is. It caught the attention of Southern Living, which named the city of nearly 20,000 one of the cutest Christmas towns in the South. The article noted the market was, quote, in the perfect small town. Now what might follow the perfect small town? Here's a multiple choice for you. What might follow the perfect small town? Would it be lush greenery? Would it be fantastic schools? Would it be a burgeoning economy? Let's see what the next sentence might be to the perfect small town. Coleman, where just over 1% of residents are black. That's how you gonna follow perfect small town? That's really how you gonna follow perfect small town? Oh, look at that. Black Enterprise just named Atlanta the perfect American city for the 18th year in a row. Coleman, where just over 1% of residents are black, has now been forced to confront the racist ghosts of its past after a TikTok video sparked widespread discussion over a decades-long reputation as a, quote, sundown town, a place black people should flee before nightfall or face violence. Now, here's a question. If that was part of the history of the town, why wouldn't that already be confronted? Why would it require a TikTok? So you were perfectly fine with it till that TikTok. We would be a perfect sundown town if it wasn't for you meddling kids. Quote, y'all, we got drama in Alabama, the video states. Ain't nobody coming to Coleman. Coleman, Alabama is a sundown town, was, is, forever will be, the video continues. If they really are changing and becoming more welcoming, they need to put some marketing effort into that first. Now, I will say this. If, in fact, you have that kind of history, you really only have two choices. Either you can try and paint over it and erase that history of the town, which I will say is the national approach. Let's call that the DeSantis Method. Yeah, that is pretty much how they go about that business.
Does it say that in the bill? I'm asking you to tell me what's in the bill because you are pushing false narratives.
The other way you can handle that is acknowledge it and work to change it. That's really what you got. Denying it, that's not gonna work too well. And also, just confronting it because of a TikTok doesn't look good. That doesn't look good. That is the "I'm sorry I got caught" method of problem solving. Some say the change happened long ago, and they hope people will see how far Coleman has come. Nathan Anderson, Coleman's Parks and Recreation Executive Director, told AL.com that the town's history is complex, like most Southern communities. Is that what you call it? That's what you call it? It's complex. I remember my grandmother used to tell my mother growing up, don't go on the other side of them train tracks. It's complex over there. Yeah, it's real complex. I can't believe they didn't give me that loan. What was the reason they gave? Complex. Anderson hopes that the people will see for themselves that it has changed for the better and that the community is welcoming and inclusive to everyone. Quote, "Our message is, please come and experience it. I can assure you it is not what you're hearing from those that aren't familiar with us, that haven't been here, definitely not in recent decades." So the last thing I want to do is say something insensitive to anyone that had history with this, like many communities in the South. Now, I have no issue with that particular statement. I understand that you're trying to put some lipstick on this race pig. I get that. It starts to look bad when you start saying things like the perfect Southern town. Yeah, maybe get some of that marketing work under your belt before you start going with perfect Southern town. Maybe do some of that work first, before you go with perfect Southern town. Yeah, boss, I know I was a no call, no show yesterday and the day before, but I'm here on time today. I'm the perfect worker. Quote, "All I can say is that it's not our story for today. We are the opposite, and we go to church with a diverse group of people. My kids go to school with a diverse group of people. We play ball with them. It is the opposite of what others are saying." Well, that is an interesting way to completely neg other people's actual experiences. It's at this point, I feel like I want to go to the TikToks. Yeah, I feel like I want to go, let's see what the people on the ground are saying.
Oh my God, y'all come to Coleman, Alabama. Oh, it's a Hallmark winter Christmas. We want to invite everybody. Well, not really everybody, because there's a little history to Coleman, Alabama, that after dark it becomes a sundown town. What? How are we supposed to go look at the Christmas lights if it's a sundown town? I guess if you look like me, you got the complexion to provide the protection, so you're good. Come on down, y'all.
Hey, Darky, are you looking for something fun to do this holiday season? Well, come visit us in Coleman, Alabama, where we are not a sundown town. We love everybody, especially you guys, you black people. You get your friends, you get down here. Just get there.
Last summer, I had a reason to go to Coleman. Once I finished with my business in Coleman, I've got in my car and realized, oh shit, I ain't got no gas. And so it was at night. I pulled off into a gas station, went inside, asked the gentleman at the counter, I said, can I get $30 on pump so-and-so? He didn't say, hey, hi, no, kiss my ass, nothing. He looked at me up and down, looked outside, looked back at me and said, are you sure you want to be here? Yeah. And to the white creators out there that are defending Coleman to the death, maybe you'll listen to me.
Anderson also shared that over Black Friday weekend, 16.6% or 7,000 attendees of the Christkindlmarkt were from the Black community. This is according to an analytic tool that tracks consumer foot traffic called Placer.ai. Now, if you want to make me feel better about the racist history of the town, tell me you counting the black people. Yeah, go ahead and tell me you counting the black people. That is what makes me feel safe. You know what I mean? That's what makes me feel safe. Also, when you have a tracker called Placer, that just warms my feet. My family always used to tell me, you are not safe until they start tracking you. When they start tracking you, then you good. When AL.com posted an article on Facebook about the Southern Living Christmastown designation, many comments reiterated Coleman's reputation for once having had signs that supposedly warned, "And don't let the sun go down on you in this time." I heard something about that.
For some reason, I keep seeing Coleman, Alabama in this presentation as a picture-perfect Christmas destination. And I just want to remind y'all that hole is a sundown town. They just don't have the damn sign anymore. My great-grandmother told me I could not go to Coleman, Alabama. Every year when all the Alabama high schools send their students to Wallace State for the basketball championship, the buses will not stop in Coleman.
Quote, last time I was passing through Coleman, 2 black ladies came into the Walmart at the same time and every single Caucasian in there gave them the death stare. I've never felt more embarrassed being in a store. It was insane. I guess they look like Target shoppers. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. We are quite fond of Target. Quote, okay, so my daughter had a couple of soccer games in Coleman and Arab this season, and we have never had any issues. The people were always pleasant. However, we leave before dark because I too have been taught to leave before the sun goes down. Did she just say we've never had any problems, but we leave before dark? See, what I do is I just abide by Jim Crow rules, and that way I don't have no problems. That way I know that whatever line they draw for me, whether it's today or whether it's civil rights movement or pre-civil rights movement or Jim Crow, I stop at Jim Crow, so I make sure we good.
One of the things that's actually happening in our culture, which you're now starting to see in our politics, is the reinvigoration of black families with younger black men and black women. And that is also helping to breed the revival of a black middle class in America. You see, during Jim Crow, the black family was together.
Nobody asked you, Byron Donalds. They got a nice little photo here, which is phenomenal. This is a good addition to the article. And don't think some of these photos we taking today gonna look too much different under the light of time. I'm just saying. White demonstrators at the city limits of Coleman awaiting the arrival of a march organized by the Southern Christian Leadership Conference to protest the upcoming trial of Tommy Lee Hines in 1978. One woman is holding a sign that reads, "Keep Coleman clean, keep ends out." Now, one thing I will say, I understand that technology has changed quite a bit, but there's a lot that looks filthy about that photo. There's a lot that looks filthy about that photo. I think we needed selfie mode. I think we needed selfie mode in this particular. In fact, this might be actually the inspiration for selfie mode, is her holding that sign. The late Tuscaloosa news columnist Ben Windham in 2006 interviewed former state rep Tom Drake, who grew up in Coleman, about the sign. You could mention Coleman anywhere in the state and black people would say, "Oh no, I don't want to go there." He quoted Drake as saying, "Black people were afraid to go into certain parts of Coleman County. That's just the way that it was." Told you all you had to do was go roller skating. You would have fixed that right up. Several black people who have lived in Coleman told AL.com that the historical perception is not indicative of the current reality in the city, which hosts the annual Rock the South Music Festival that attracts more than 100,000 people over 3 days. Ronell Hall, a black man, has lived in Coleman his whole life and intends to stay there and raise his family. He posted a TikTok video offering his experience living there and addressing the comments about Coleman being a sundown town. Let's check that out.
I'm a local here in Coleman, and I guess there's a few things that I could say that'll help out a few families. I'm here to tell you today that Coleman's not what it seems like, or what it sounds like, or what you've been told about it. I'm 35 now, and I've lived here my entire life. My parents have lived here, my grandparents. They've owned land and now I own their land. And this is just how it is, generational. This is how we do it. With that being said, I've learned a lot from people here in Coleman. I mean, a lot. And I won't take anything of that away from any of these people. So this is why I'm making this video, to tell you guys right now that what you guys have heard of Coleman, it's not that. It's not a sundown town. My son goes to school here, actually, okay? And I actually coach these kids. I'm a youth coach here, and that's how I give back to the community. For the people that's saying that it's sundown and you're going to get hurt if you go out there, it's not going to happen. These people are not going to harm you guys. They're very nice people, and they'll probably just smile and say hey and go about their day. I promise you, they are not worried about y'all. So don't knock it till you try. You should just come and just have a good time. Me and my family, we're going to go back out there, and we're going to have a great time. I'm actually going to ice skate. So I'm sure you'll be seeing a TikTok of that too. But at the end of the day, I'm here to tell you that Coleman's a great place with great people. I mean, these people will give you their shirt off their backs. Nice people that work hard for their families and just want to be here in their safe community. We all understand what it used to be like. We do. But I'm here to tell you as a local and as a black man from Coleman, Alabama, you're good. And when I tell you this, I'm not sitting here saying that there isn't nobody racist in Coleman. There's racist people everywhere. Okay? But what I'm here to tell you is that you're going to be okay. You're going to have a great time. You're going to go home and everything's going to be just fine. So I'm just here to help out my community because how you guys are making it sound, it's not like that. And I hate that you guys are making people not come here.
And by the way, Hall wasn't alone in those assertions.
I keep seeing all these videos about Coleman, Alabama, and I remember Coleman, Alabama, especially when I was in the military. I used to have to go up to Huntsville sometimes. So I just want to say, I ain't had no problems in Coleman, Alabama. Matter of fact, my ex-girlfriend's from Coleman, Alabama, and I don't know what you guys are talking about. So what I think I'm going to do this weekend is I'm going to run up to Coleman, Alabama, and hang out for the Christmas Hallmark, go to the warehouse again, downtown, maybe get something to eat. Not a bad place at all. I mean, you people are overreacting, and I think people are just looking at a video from what someone else said, and they are basing what they heard about Coleman, Alabama. They're just basing it off of what they think. But overall, like I said, Coleman's a nice place, nice people.
And they even added this photo, which is that's a real photo. That was not staged at all. Wait, they used that exact same photo in the college brochure? Are you sure? Naji Davis moved to Coleman from New York to play college basketball in 2012. He said his entire time in Coleman was the epitome of Southern hospitality and mentioned he moved in with a local white family through a basketball and church program. Davis said the family became his home away from home and he never felt unsafe, even after dark. Davis no longer lives in Coleman, but says he still visits. He says he was confused with the focus on Coleman as an isolated example when the South in general has a similar racist history. Now, you are correct there. The South in general has a similar racist history. It's just not, the South in general hasn't been called the perfect Southern town. So that's a Coleman thing. You know what I mean? You know what? To your point, I guess that would make it the perfect Southern town. Yeah, it depends on what you mean by Southern. Davis mentioned that anti-black violence was prevalent during the Jim Crow era all throughout Alabama and in the South, making virtually any place unsafe for black people. Well, that's a hell of a defense. The rest of the state's doing it too. Matter of fact, look at the whole SEC. Message. Davis said he thinks Alabama as a whole needs to work to combat its racist history and not put the onus on individual towns. The kids grow up in the school systems, they play sports, so it's not like Coleman is unsafe and in Birmingham you were fine. No, you weren't. They were blowing up churches with kids in them. It was crazy. Is that supposed to make us feel better? That was supposed to make us feel better about Coleman? That there was that kind of violence also in the state? Okay, yeah, I cheated, but it wasn't nearly as bad as Ronnie and them. Coleman Mayor Woody Jacobs provided a statement saying the city has been working hard to create a city that welcomes everyone, and our efforts to expand tourism and family-friendly attractions reflect that commitment. From our thriving festivals and sports tournaments to our charming small businesses and restaurants, we're proud to offer experiences that bring families from all walks of life together to enjoy all that our city has to offer. Our goal is to show the region and beyond that Coleman is a place of openness, warmth, and inclusivity. We're dedicated to ensuring that every visitor feels at home here and can share in the fellowship, fun, and sense of community that make Cullman such a special place to live, work, and play. Now, so much was said online. Let's go ahead and hear from the people on the ground.
So Coleman, Alabama's trending. But we knew that it was a sundown town, right? We knew that it wasn't this German Christmas town, that it is in fact a sundown town, that it is not welcoming to people of color, to Black people, that it never has been, and that that's its history, right? Like, that's not new information. But to come on here and see white people that are from Cullman talk about how offended they are that it's being labeled as a sundown town when it is exactly that. And I think that if you say that it's not, like, you just have to be so ignorant about where you're actually from, because I'm not a person of color and I've seen it. So how is it that you don't know? My youngest sister is a person of color. One of my coworkers was just snubbing my family and being rude to them and laughing at them. And I said, "What's your problem?" And he said to me, "Well, I just don't like N-word children very much."
That's a whole lot of sundown towns, Alabama. What exactly was you into after dark you didn't want us to see?
When I first moved to Alabama in 2003 and I started looking for jobs, I found several jobs available in Coleman, Alabama. And in talking to my mom, she stopped me. She was like, "No, ma'am, you do not want to work in Coleman." She proceeded to let me know that Coleman was considered a sundown town, and that at some point in time, she said she wasn't for sure if the sign was still up or not, but it was a sign that was posted letting Black folk know that they needed to be out of Cullman before the sun went down. Fast forwarding to 2016, when I started my truck driving career, literally driving the back roads of Coleman, Alabama, and coming into the actual city of Coleman, Alabama. First and foremost, I didn't even know what a sundown town was. And secondly, I'd never seen a sign that was saying that Black folk had to be out of their town before the sun went down. And they didn't use the word Black folk, Black people. They used that N-word. But the one thing that I am not is afraid to drive through Cullman. Is Cullman, Alabama a sundown town? Cullman, Alabama is a legacy sundown town. And not everybody is aware of the history of Coleman, Alabama. Did you know that Colony, Alabama, the town of Colony, Alabama, was developed and populated by those that felt discriminated in Cullman? People cannot get upset when Black people get on this app and they say, "No, Cullman's a sundown town." They may not have that sign up, and there may be some racial tolerance within that city, but history says that Cullman, Alabama is a legacy sundown town.
I thought that was very balanced and very measured and extremely well said. So hopefully the kids listen and they pay attention.
I ain't in no hurry. I just take it slow, just as fast as I can. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here. What I told you, I said, yeah. Okay.
All those Black families went through all that terror so they could have the freedom to do that, huh? That's what it was all for? They need to make them leave too.